Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of integrating Google Maps into our Flutter application. In today's video, we are going to explore the power of Google Places API within your Flutter application. We will build a location search feature that provides real-time suggestions as you type. So grab your keyboards and let's dive into the code. So we begin by setting up our Flutter project to make API requests to the Google Places API. So to use the Google Places API, we need to enable it first from our Google Cloud Console. So in my case, I have already uh, enabled both of them, a Places API and a Places API new. So we will be using these APIs and services of Google Console to get uh, information of places. So now let's just begin. Where if you have just enabled your API, Places API, and get back into the code. So let's just create a new Dart file for our searching places. So I will be just creating a new Dart file in my lib directory. So it will be search Google places dot. Yeah. Now I will be creating a stateful widget here, which will be search Google API Google places, and I will be just creating replacing this placeholder to a scaffold widget, and I'll be just adding a header to show her title on the page. Title const text, and it will be search Google places. Yeah, and I will be just calling this my this search Google place class to my main.dart file in the home section here, and I will be just importing it. Yeah, now we are good to go. Yeah, see, a page is being shown on our emulator. And to begin with this, I will be just creating a text form field here where user uh, types or searches for places. So that is the reason we need a text form field for user input. So let's just create it by using the body part, and I will be using a column widget here, and children, and text form field, text form field, and we will just decorate it a little bit and put decoration, so hint text, which will be search places here, and I'll be just doing a const here to remove the warnings, and here you go. Yeah, text form field just appeared on our screen, and I will just add some border, which will be outline border, and yeah, that's it. And yeah, so we also require some paddings, so let's just provide some paddings to our column widget, which will be wrapped with padding, and I'll be just giving it padding to horizontal just 50. Yeah, now it's looking good, I guess. Yeah, so now the when user types in this text form field, the text or the input should be stored in a variable. For that reason, we will be creating a controller for this text form field. So let's just create a text editing controller here, Yeah, text editing controller, search controller is equal to text editing controller. Yeah, we are done, and I'll be just adding a final to remove my errors, and we will just provide this controller to our text form field, so which is the controller, and here you go. Now we are done. So now let's just implement a function where we will send the request to our Google Map Google server, and the Google server just send the response of the places back. So we will be just creating a new function here, which will be a future function for async function. So I'll be just creating it, name it get suggestions. So it will just take the user inputs, and it will be a sync function. So yeah, so basically um, in this function we need to send a Google API key, uh, Google API key, and mm, the endpoint URL of Google APIs, and a session token. So basically we require three of them. So let's just create them, which will be our Google API key is equal to your API key here. So here you need to just paste your Google Console API key where you get it from the Google Cloud Console. So just paste your Google API key here. So basically we are done with Google API key. So I'll be pasting my Google API key here. So you should paste your own API key, and now we will be just taking our endpoint. So I will be basically providing the URL in the uh, description box, so you can just access it from there, which is https dot. So basically I will name it first baseUrl is equal to this https dot this, and which is Google APIs.com slash maps and slash API and slash place and slash autocomplete complete dot slash json. Yeah, I'm done with this. We have just created this um, API, Google API URL. So Google APIs URL. So you can get it by Google also, but I will be providing it in into the comment or description box, so you can get it easily. So we also need to send a session token. So how can we get the user session, a unique user session? So for that I will be just using a package. I will be using a package which will which will this UUID package basically ensure unique requests to the API. So it will be unique ID or the session token for every user. If a user searches every time, the ID, this ID will be unique, and a unique ID will be sent to the Google server. And I guess I will be using the HTTP method to get the response or to send the response to the Google server. We will be using the HTTP method get and post. So in our case, we will be just using the get method today. So let's just use them. So for that, I will be just creating the instance of my UID. So basically we will be just saving this here. Yeah, again, now we will be just creating instance UUID. Yeah, so let's just import it and is equal to UI. Great. So here you go. Const to remove the warnings, and I'll be just creating a string session token is equal to empty for now. A string. Yeah, great. So now we will be just concatenating both of them and the session token to send a request to the Google server. So for that I will be just creating another string in the name of request and is equal to. So firstly we will be sending using our base URL, and this question mark basically on the URL, it is used to query something. So that is why this is base URL query, and then the input, and input is equal to how this input basically whatever user enters here, this will be sent to the Google server. Input, and after input we will be sending the Google API also, which will be and key is equal to our this Google API. So we will be sending our Google API key to the Google server, Google API key, and the last we will be sending the session token also. So the session token is session token is equal to the session token basically. Yeah. So yeah, we are done with creating our Google API key, base URL, and then concatenating and creating a request to be sent to the server. So let's just use our HTTP and send this request to the server and get the response and store it in a variable named response. So we will be just creating importing our HTTP package, which is package. So I'm not getting any suggestions. Why? So let's just save it. Import package. Sorry, will be http dot, and I'll be use this http package as http. So I'll be accessing the methods or the function by using this my http. So here you go. Now we will be just creating our response variable is equal to how wait, because it is an async function. It will just send this request, and it will wait for some time. So we are mm, waiting it by using the await keyword, so which will be http.get and URI.parse here, and we will be just sending our this request. And here you go, now we are done uh, with sending the request, and we will be getting the response and storing it to our response keyword variable. So basically, now how can we trigger this suggestions function when user start typing on this text form? So this is basically, so how can we do that? So we will be just using the controller add a listener feature. So if something changes here, it will just trigger this function. So here you go, we will be just creating a void on change function, and here you go, if so we will also check the session token. If it is empty, then just assign it. So have session token dot is empty, then just set state, and he sorry, we will be just creating the session and is equal to uid dot we will be assigning a new variable. Yeah, now on the else method we will be just uh, triggering our this function, which will take input. The input will be coming from this text form field, so we will be just using controller.text here. Yeah, so basically we are done. So I will be just printing this response to get the response on our console. So print response dot body to string. So I will be just calling this my change function in a init state. So when the application is starts, so before all the steps, just initialize both of these, uh, initialize this on function basically. Yeah, now here you go, I'll be just removing this, and I'll be just calling my on change function here, and here you go. So basically we will see the response, and based on that response we will be just accessing the data of that response. So here you go, I'll be just going to my debug console, and I'll be just typing here something, so which will be the debug. So nothing happened. So yeah, we will be calling our this on change function on the uh, controller or listener function. So we will be just cutting it from here, hence calling my controller dot add listener. When something user types here in this text form field, so it will listens, and according to that it will change the function or call my this on change method and trigger this get suggestions method. So here you go, we will be just calling our on change function here, and here I will be just saving it, and now I will be hot restarting this again, and we will be just checking if I start typing on this text form field, which will be what will happen here. So here you go, we have the provided API key is invalid, so I will be just providing my API key. So I will be just providing my API key, and again we will see what will happen. So here is the API key I have provided, and now I will just auto restart it again, and now I will be just mm, typing and searching for a place. So let's see what will we be getting. So it will be Thorbot, and here you go, we have got our responses here. So by this response, so it is basically a type of predictions, and it is a list basically. So you can do or access the data from this response in two methods. So you can also create models. According to that models, you can be able to access the data from this response, or I will be just doing it simply by just creating a dynamic list and restoring all this data in my list and accessing the data from my date list. So for that, I will be just creating a list which will be type of dynamic here, and it will be place list and initialize it with empty list. So so here now I will be just checking the response status. If my response dot status code is 200, which means that all the URL or the endpoint is working, or it has been it, and we are getting something from our endpoint. So it means that our response code is 200, that it means the status code is okay and we are getting something. So if we are getting the response, so we need to um, do that and store it in our uh, this place list so we have just created. So here it will be on a set state, and the place list is equal to JSON decode. So we will just decode this JSON, whatever we are getting from this response body, JSON decode. And so here you go, we will just response dot body dot toString, and as you know that it was a type of prediction something in the response we have just saw. So we will be just adding predictions. So I will just copying that and pasting there, so there should not be any kind of spelling mistake. So yeah, which will be predictions. So yeah, now if the response code is 200, it will just decode all the response body and store it in our um, list. So if something, if some error comes, so we will also be handling that. So let's just throw an exception here, throw exception failed to load data. So LOAD, load data, yeah. So now we are done by getting data, fetching data, and sending the request to the Google server, and Google is sending the response back as we saw the response which we were getting. So now we need to show them in our application or on the screen. So for that reason, so basically it is a list. So we will access the data from our this list so we have just created. So I will be just coming back to my designing page, which we in the scaffold. So in the scaffold I will be just creating and using the expanded widget. So it is a list, so it should be uh, in expanded widget, so it will take all the available spaces according to the list. So there should not be any kind of error of related sizes. So that is the reason I am using the expanded widget here. So in the expanded widget we will be just creating a list view builder to show our data in her list view builder. So it requires her item builder. Item builder requires a context and an index, so I will be just providing it, and here I will be just returning a list tile. So here you go. In the list tile we will be just creating a title, and the title should be her text context, no, text, and here you go, we will be just adding a text here. Yeah, now I'm not getting any errors. So we will also define the length of the list. So how can we do that? So we will be just getting the length of the list by the list itself. So I'll be using the item count, and which was the place list and dot length, and here you go, whatever data are present in that list, the data will be shown according to that list. So here you go, we have just done, and we will now show the data here. So how can we do that? So it is the, we will be just calling our place list here, place list dot, so basically place list is so yeah, it takes an index here. So let's just grab this, revert this. So place list, it takes an index, and we also require to print um so this description, basically it should be shown on our screen. So we will just here type the description, this description, yeah. So I will be just saving this and out restarting it, and now let's just see what will happen when I start typing my query on this text form field. So basically here you go, I'll be just starting the path. So you see we are getting data, and these are being shown on our screen based on this list. So now here comes a question. So Google Maps works on coordinates, so we are getting the addresses. So how can we convert them into longitude and latitude? So basically, if you are watching along with me and following along with me, so in the last video lecture we have just created a conversion of coordinates. So we are here, we also need to convert these addresses. From these addresses now we need to get the coordinates. So in the previous lecture we have just created a function, so I'll be just copying this from the previous function, and here you go, I will be just pasting it on tab. So basically when user clicks on any of the address from the suggestions, and according to that tab we will be getting the longitude of that address in our debug console. So we will be just calling that function, and I'll be just importing my geocoding, and I'll be making this function a saying, so because this is uh, future function, so I will be just whatever address we are getting from our list, I will be just providing it here. So now let's see, when I click here, what will we be getting? Yeah, so we are basically printing nothing. So yeah, let's just print our longitude and latitude, which will be locations dot last dot latitude, and I'll be just printing the longitude, yeah. I will be just save with this, and here you go, we have got our latitude and longitude according um, to the suggestions we have just clicked on. So basically I will be just wrapping this up. So uh, I have created a simply a session token using the UUID package to ensure unique requests to the API, and we have an on change function that listens to the text input changes and fetches suggestions from the Google Places API based on the user input. So the suggestions are displayed on in real time using a list view builder, as you saw we have just used. So uh, and on the suggestions, when the user taps on a suggestion, we use the location from address function from the geocoding package to retrieve the latitude and longitude of the selected place, and we print out these coordinates to the console, but you can use them for further functionality like displaying the selected location on the map. Yeah, great job. We have successfully implemented a location search feature using the Google Places API in our Flutter application. This is just the beginning of what we can achieve with location-based services in Flutter. If you found this video tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting Flutter tutorials. If you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, happy coding with Flutter.